it to flowing today. Bear with me a sec, guys.
Doc, I think you need to make Fazia close and you possible.
Can you, Biola, can you admit people in as well, please? Because I think your co-host, you can do that.
So you guys aren't getting any echo from me at the moment, though?
No.
Good.
We're not.
mainly on the
Additional features with a more advanced macro engine, inbuilt shortcut control in the UI, and much more besides. So if you'd like any more information, please visit www.newtek.com. You can also book a demo with myself or any of our colleagues, and we can go through these products with you in person on a video conference anytime soon. So thanks for joining us.
My name is Imri Halevi. I'm an Assistant Athletic Director for Multimedia and Production at Harvard University Athletics. We have the largest athletic department in the country with 42 Division I teams. We produce and broadcast almost all home games for those teams, which comes out to about 300 broadcasts a year. We produce the broadcast for ESPN+, ESPN's direct-to-consumer platform, as well as local and regional TV networks. Historically, we've used baseband video a lot. We've run fiber optic cable and copper cable between our facilities, trying to get our camera feeds and audio feeds from place to place. But over the last few years, we've really started relying more on IP technology from Dante for audio and to NDI for video. Historically, we've had our usual baseband SDI cameras connected to NDI converters and ran those to our control rooms. But this year we've decided to try cameras with built-in NDI capabilities, and that's where BirdDog has come in. We've purchased a few of the BirdDog A200 cameras, which allow us to mount them permanently at our soccer facilities as well as other facilities, and control them remotely as well. So we can sit at our hockey control room or our basketball control room and remotely control these A200 cameras, get the feeds into our switcher, into our replay system, place our commentators wherever they need to be on campus, and have them watch those feeds using NDI as well. BirdDog has been amazing to work with. We actually had some issues connecting our cameras to our campus network, and BirdDog was there. They've been on the phone with us, on chat with us, on email with us, day and night, making sure that their cameras can work with our network and making sure that any problems we have are solved right away. Looking ahead, we're really looking to utilize a broader range of BirdDog cameras. We just purchased our first P200 camera. We're looking at the 4K line as well, and definitely some of those mini decoders to connect to more of our monitors around the facility. Our goal is to rely on NDI more and more, and the best way to do that without using NDI converters for SDI cameras is just using cameras with built-in NDI. And BirdDog has a very large collection of those that we're looking forward to try out.
Hello everyone, this is Mazden Wambugu speaking, a student in Kenya Institute of Mass Communication, also known as KIMC. So we were doing a production, and I want to thank the TriCaster for being there as our video switcher, because it's our everyday companion in our productions. Because of the many features it has everything and anything one would need to do a production. Everything about the TriCaster is so easy to capture. The smaller details about doing our production, the lower thirds, as you can see.
My name is Joy Gerono. I'm a student at the Kenya Institute of Mass Communication, and I am a TriCaster operator. And what I can say about it, it's a superb system.
My name is Victor Kerie from the Kenya Institute of Mass Communication. I've been using the TriCaster for over a year now. It has been amazing using this system because it enables me to add my graphics. I can add my videos from other sources without having to struggle much looking for other sources out there, like inputting so much devices at one. It is a system that has been built with a user-friendly interface. It has been divided into divisions, whereby they have been divided equally into layers, whereby you don't need to struggle looking for where to add this or where to remove this. It is very nice, and I think it is one of the best systems that I have worked with, because the last system that I used to work with didn't have an interface that the TriCaster has.
Hello guys, my name is Lorena Njiko. I'm a student at Kenya Institute of Mass Communication. I've been using the TriCaster for the past 1 year, and I can see it is a really efficient system. I've been able to add my graphics, when needed, and also through my interaction with other media students from different institutions who have not had the chance to use the TriCaster. I can say that it has really given me an opportunity to advance in using it, and I have a better experience in using it.
Hello everyone, my name is Thomas Mzungu, the studio technician here at Winners Chapel International, Nairobi. We are using the TriCaster SDI Mini. We have used it for more than 3 years now. What I can say is that it has enabled us. Previously, we were just using 2 cameras in our services in terms of video capture. But at the moment, since we got the TriCaster Mini, we were able to add 2 more cameras. So at the moment, we're using 4 cameras in terms of video capture. So the effective part is that the TriCaster user face is very easy to use. But what I can say is that for us, it's a huge gain for us in terms of our video coverage, in terms of our sanctuary. Also, the TriCaster enables us to stream on multiple platforms. At the moment, we're streaming on a YouTube platform, Winners Chapel International Nairobi, and also Facebook platform at Winners Chapel International Nairobi. And also, when we're having other events, maybe youth events, you can also add in the 3rd platform. So we have the 2 main for the main church and also 1 for the youth. So that's an additional advantage for us. So we are glad to have the TriCaster Mini, and it's very helpful, very effective to us. It has enabled us to have more video coverage for our services. Thank you.
My name is Michael Agbogidi. The church is Cathedral Church of Christ, Marina, Lagos. It's an Anglican church. The church is over 150 years old. This technology is pretty much new to the church. It's something that gradually the church has been buying into to make services go further than just within the church to all parts of the world. My experience with the TriCaster has been fantastic. I've enjoyed working with it so far. We had it installed about 3 weeks, 4 weeks back. The difference between this TriCaster Mini and what I had before was quite a lot. The former system was not as enjoyable as the TriCaster. It was limited to what it could do. Had just 3 cameras and you could only switch between the 3 shots, and the mixing between the effects was really restricted to just fade in, fade out, nothing extraordinary that we could do with it. So the TriCaster has been like a breath of fresh air. So much that I can do with this compared to the old one that I couldn't achieve. Dante connection is from the digital mixer and it comes into the TriCaster, and then with it we could bring in sound. We also have it connected to our streaming software, the Wirecast, and we're able to push out good quality sound. NDI connections from the cameras. We have a total of 9 cameras presently installed. We look to increase on that number with time. But each camera is connected via an IP, via the LAN connection, and each one has its own IP address which is stored. We could access it, control it, make changes to what we want to do on the cameras. It's all pretty interesting. Now, the improvements that the TriCaster has brought to our online streaming experience is quite a lot. Before, people, like I said earlier, people could just change between 2 cameras and that was pretty much it. But with the new system, there's a whole lot we can do. We can lay out video over video. We could split screens and have 2 different videos, one on the other. We could bring our live text onto the videos. There's a whole lot that we could do with this new system, and bring in graphics, bring in other videos that we recorded and brought in. So there's quite a lot that we could do. If we didn't have this system installed, we pretty much have been living in the 19th century. It's a whole world that we've not even tapped into. We are still expanding, we're still looking at new ways we can improve, new things we can do with what we have. Really excited and happy about the Newtek TriCaster. Small machine, but very powerful. Very, very powerful in what it can do.
My name is Emmanuel Ayodele, Engineering Department, World Dove Media, operators of Dove Television and OH Prime TV platform. TriCaster is an equipment we use in our daily operations. We use TriCaster 460, TriCaster TC1 and TriCaster TC2 Elite. We use it for our daily studio operation, and most especially Holy Ghost service and the biggest gathering in Africa, which is called Holy Ghost Congress. As the official TV station of Redeemed Christian Church of God, we use TriCaster in linking from the event ground, which is over 3 kilometers away from here, down to link TC1, which is at the convention ground, down to our studio office. We link both TC1 and TC2 Elite together. With the help of NDI, the two TriCaster are able to communicate with each other, whether it is the studio operations that precede the opening of the program and also the main event itself holding at the Congress Ground. I can say TriCaster has been
Good morning, good afternoon, from wherever you're joining us from. Welcome to another Newtek webinar 2022, our first webinar this year. Today, I am joined by Liam Hayter and Biola from Nigeria. Guys, what we have in stock for you today is just way beyond, and you cannot afford to miss this. First of all, apologies for starting a bit late, but again, it's good that we are here, and I hope you'll be staying with us throughout to the end of this webinar, because whatever Liam has in store for us is mind-blowing. Because of time, I'm going to invite Biola from Nigeria to say hi. Mr. Biola. Mr. Biola.
Thank you for coming in to this webinar today. We are super excited to have you all here. Thank you all for creating time to be a part of this. I can assure you that you're going to enjoy every bit of it. Just a quick rundown. It's something that is new, it's new technology, and something that makes whatever you do better. For everyone here, it's selected for a particular purpose. Just sit back, enjoy the ride, and then we'll see our time. Thank you.
Thank you, Biola. Yes, guys, as Mr. Biola has said, it's something new that you don't want to miss, and you want to understand technology where it is right now, especially with Newtek and their products. So without wasting much time, Liam, wherever he's joining us from, Liam, good morning to you. I know it's afternoon on our end, but again, karibu sana, and thank you for having time and joining us today. Welcome, Liam.
Good morning, Fazia. Thank you very much for having us today.
Thank you, Liam. So I know we are a bit late. We are back on time, so I'll just let you go in straight and give us what it is you have in store for us.
Yeah, sure. So we're going to be running through a number of things today. Some brand new products that we've recently announced, some new techniques and ways of creating live video production. And yeah, we'll be walking through that with a couple of live demos of these new products and technologies as well. So just to give you a quick head up as well, just to start with. So I think it's good for us first to have a quick look back at what we've done with NDI tools. So NDI, of course, was a technology started at Newtek, is now part of the VisRT group of technologies. So we've actually separated NDI out into its own business unit, which basically means that NDI has its own life free of Newtek across the product line of Newtek, VisRT, but also across the third-party ecosystem, enabling all sorts of different vendors and manufacturers to take advantage of this fantastic technology. So let's take a quick look at what we've updated in NDI Tools 5.5. This is the latest release that we're currently running for NDI today. So as a quick reminder, if you'd like to get started with NDI, you can download a free suite of tools from ndi.tv/tools, which will enable you to use any Mac or PC to send and receive NDI. If you wanted to develop, and if you've got software development skills and you want to write your own software applications using our SDK, you can download this at ndi.tv/SDK, and that includes if you'd wish to be a manufacturer as well. It starts here really with the brand new NDI Tools Launcher. So the Tools Launcher is something that we introduced with the start of NDI version 5. And that's actually a really fantastic way to be able to interact and operate with the NDI Tools suite. So if we just switch across to my laptop now, you can see I've got this window here running on my laptop right now. And this is what we call the NDI Tools Launcher. So within the launcher, you can see the suite that we provide you free of charge. So this includes NDI Webcam. This allows you to send any NDI source into a video conference and use it as your webcam and microphone. We have NDI Studio Monitor. Now, Studio Monitor is the application that we use to look at and view NDI, and you'll see a bit more of that in a little bit, through to screen capture and many, many more. Now, to share my display today, I'm using our NDI screen capture application, and we made it easier than ever for you to be able to interact with NDI tools. So if you hit the Learn More button, so just to show you where that is again, there's a little highlight that appears in the bottom right corner of each tool. If you select on Learn More, it'll actually walk you through the instructions on how to set up and use this particular application with demo videos and the like, again to make it as easy for you to get started as possible with those NDI tools. Now there's some new tools here that we've also brought into the mix, and those tools are as follows. So let's just go back to my slide. Webcam input has been updated with NDI 5.5. This now previously only used to support one NDI source at a time, but NDI webcam input can now support up to 4 separate NDI inputs that you can then switch between very easily from your chosen application. The Studio Monitor application now has a new feature called the Confidence Monitor. So I'm just going to very quickly just open up an instance of NDI Studio Monitor. I'm just going to bring that up on the screen here now, and I'm just going to go in and select the camera that I'm using here today at the front. So this is my main presenter camera that I'm using to present today through the Studio Monitor application. So on the surface, this hasn't changed that much. You know, we connect to a PTZ camera, we can still take control of it. But a new feature that we've added is here down in the settings. So if you go down to settings and go to video, there's now what we call a connection reliability beta. So this is a new beta feature that's been introduced. And this actually gives you a small graph at the bottom of the screen that shows you the quality of your signal. Now I'm using an older camera today, so it's not fully supported, but with newer NDI devices, basically if that bar's in the green, then you've got a nice reliable video and audio signal, and if it's dropping red, it means it's lower bandwidth. So this is a beta feature, but again part of what we're moving towards to make it easier than ever to integrate and operate within NDI. We've also improved NDI Bridge. For those of you that joined our webinar last year, then we actually did a preview of NDI Bridge here at the show, where we linked the systems between Biola, Fauzia and myself, so Lagos, Kenya and London, all linked together through NDI Bridge. And NDI Bridge itself has had further reliability improvements to improve that remote connectivity, so we can help make your remote productions using NDI even better than ever before. But there's also then one last tool, which is a brand new feature that we've added with NDI 5.5 that I want to show you, and that is called the NDI router. So what I'm going to do is let's just go back across to my laptop now, and here in the corner we've got the NDI router application. Now we've been asked for many years to provide individual routing of NDI sources just as you'd integrate with traditional broadcast. Now what we've done is we've actually taken the technology that was built into the TriCaster 2 Elite. If you remember from our TriCaster 2 Elite demos, we have a built-in NDI router within that, and we've now got this routing application. So you can simply right click on any source, hit configure. You can change the color of the button if you want, so you can make it nice and easy to see, and you can choose the NDI source that you want to be able to send. So in this case I'm going to take my NDI PTZ camera at the front, and then here I'm going to select in this one my other NDI camera I've got in the room, that is my NDI camera behind me. Now you can see as I select each of these sources, it changes the little preview window that's running here in the middle. Then on the right we can then choose destination. So here what I'm going to do is basically call this NDI router destination 1. I'm going to rename this one Studio Monitor, and I'm going to have that as a button now, which I can then run in. So I'm going to put this Studio Monitor in the text. Now we've got that loaded as a button, so we've got 3 buttons that we've created, 2 PTZ cameras and Studio Monitor. I'm now just going to go back to my Studio Monitor application, and in my list now under my laptop you can see I have some NDI router destinations that have now appeared as sources. So I'm going to check the Studio Monitor routing target that I've just chosen. I'm going to select that now in the router, and I'm just going to put this window to one side so you can see what it does. And I'm just now going to minimize that window, and now in my NDI router I can select the camera and the destination. So that's my main camera, but if I select my back camera and the destination, you can see that I'm now able to route these NDI sources to this Studio Monitor application. Now exactly the same thing will work with TriCaster. In fact, anything that can take NDI, if it's an NDI receiver, you can point it at the router destinations and start routing NDI just as you would in a traditional broadcast fashion. And like all the NDI tools, this is completely free of charge. One last thing about the router is it does have presets that you can recall and configure. And if you want, there is no limit to this, because we can click the cog button and we can actually add more and more sources, more and more destinations, and more presets as we need to scale up this product. As I say, a completely free of charge tool will work with all NDI senders and receivers. And just as it does with the router on the TriCaster 2 Elite, there is no actual data passing through the PC you run it on, so it doesn't have to be a big expensive PC. But then you can just do that and it will connect those NDI sending and receiving sources across the public internet. So a fantastic addition to the NDI tools, and as we develop more complex workflows, is one that's going to become increasingly useful to you in your NDI setup. So now we've had a look at NDI tools, not just NDI tools themselves, but the NDI technology itself, of course, continues to evolve. So with NDI 5, we relaunched reliable UDP, but we've also improved NDI HX, particularly with our new PTZ3 family of Newtek NDI PTZ cameras. So let's have a quick look at a quick review of what the NDI cameras are. So we like all PTZ cameras, an NDI PTZ camera typically offers pan, tilt and zoom control, all built within the camera. So I'm using two NDI PTZs here today to show you today's setup. With all cameras, that since we launched in 2016 with our first NDI PTZ1, we enable power over Ethernet, so you only have one Ethernet cable to plug into the network to power the camera, but that same cable provides video, audio and control. With our Newtek NDI PTZ3 cameras, they have a mini XLR jack on board now and are the first NDI PTZ cameras with professional audio connectivity. It comes with a small conversion cable, so basically you can then plug that directly into the back of the camera to a full-size XLR, and then you can connect the camera directly to your microphones, an in-room audio mix or existing audio sources that you have, and they make it even simpler than ever to bring your professional audio in along NDI, along with your video and audio feed. And just like all NDI cameras, applications like the free Studio Monitor that I just showed you can be used to control the camera. So if we just switch back across to my laptop again quickly, just like this one here, you can see that if I make this camera full screen, I have on-screen controls. So this means that I can actually take control of that virtual camera position from within the system here. Same thing as if I go behind me and select the camera behind. I can, of course, take control of the camera that's behind me over my shoulder in the room. And this still stands with our NDI PTZ3 camera today. But we now have a brand new member of the family with the PTZ3 line, and that is the brand new PTZ3 UHD. So I'm just going to play a very short video for you, and I'll be right back with you in just a moment. So that's the brand new NDI PTZ3 UHD. So there are two particular models now, PTZ3 HD, which is the camera you see on the right, and the PTZ3 UHD. Now, what sets our new PTZ3 cameras apart is the PTZ3 was the first camera in HD with what we call NDI HX3. The UHD is the first full 4K camera on the market with professional audio and also with NDI HX3. So HX3 is the latest iteration of the NDI HX version of NDI. But what does that mean for you as a customer? Well, basically, NDI HX3 has a number of benefits over previous iterations. So just like the original NDI HX, NDI HX3 still offers lower bandwidth than full NDI. This makes it very useful for where you may not have a particularly good quality network, but also where you want to actually simply save data. So in HD mode, this currently runs at around 70 megabit per second versus the 15 megabit per second or 150 megabit per second for HD mode. And 4K is going to be around the 100 megabit per second mark. So it gives you some significant data savings, around half that over full NDI. What really sets NDI HX3 apart though is that the latency has been dramatically improved. Older iteration NDI HX cameras were often criticized for being slower and lower latency, typically around 5 frames from the light hitting the camera to entering the network. With NDI HX3, this has to be done in around 100 milliseconds, which is only around 8 milliseconds slower than full high bandwidth NDI. And actually in tests that I've done, you can barely notice the difference between full NDI and NDI HX. But you are still getting lower data rate, but not just are you getting lower latency and a lower data rate utilization and the ability to carry audio across the camera too, but also you're getting superior image quality in the encoding compared to NDI HX 1 and 2 on our older generation cameras. So all in all, so we have these two models now, PTZ3 and PTZ3 UHD. So all of the power and mastering the art of capture in 4K as well, all supporting NDI HX3, all supporting the direct audio XLR mini input, power over Ethernet, but also one last feature is that unlike other PTZ cameras on the market, we've done a lot of work to actually make them move better. Unfortunately, I don't have mine available here to show you, but my colleagues at Highway will certainly be able to arrange a demo. But as you recall, the presets between the different positions on these cameras, they don't just snap to position like other cameras, they move very gracefully. So the camera moves almost like you've got a camera operator on them. And so we've done a lot of work in the software to ease in and ease out between these different camera positions to make it look as good as possible when you're trying to be more creative with your PTZ cameras as well. So next up, we're going to talk about another new product that we launched at this year's IBC, and that product is the TriCaster Mini X, which is our brand new entry-level TriCaster Mini system. As you all know from watching previous webinars of ours, and as a quick reminder for those of you, the TriCaster product line is probably the product other than NDI that Newtek is best known for, and is our software-defined platform for content creation and video production. And we're all using TriCasters here today between myself, Biola and Fauzia at different levels to actually create today's live show here on Zoom. So we're representing over 31 years of software-defined innovation, all the way back to the video toaster in 1990, all the way through to today with the TriCaster Mini X. So just to introduce that, I'm going to play a very quick video shortly, but just to remind you what a TriCaster is all about. Even with the TriCaster Mini, it's about producing broadcast grade content through software, streaming, recording, and all producing that from a single integrated TriCaster production system. So without further ado, I'm just going to play a very, very short video, again, just to introduce the TriCaster Mini X, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the other features that that system has got today. So as I say, that's the TriCaster Mini X, which I say is the very latest addition to the TriCaster product family. So what sets the TriCaster Mini X apart from other previous Minis? Well, firstly, we've simplified the product lineup and brought that down to just 2 models of TriCaster Mini now. But the Mini X is our new system for supporting HDMI input directly into your TriCaster. So on the back of the Mini X, you have 4 direct HDMI ports which can support up to 4K P30 on the back there. Each of those can bring audio into the TriCaster Mini as well, and they will automatically convert into NDI as well. So if you want to use existing HDMI cameras or devices that you have, you simply plug those into the back. They're then available on the network as NDI through the network ports, and you've got those 4 mini display port outputs, so that then you can also look at your multi-viewers, your display, and your user interface as well. We also still, of course, have the TriCaster Mini 4K as well. So as I say, we've simplified the lineup. There are now 2 models only. There's the new Mini X with its 4 HDMI inputs, up to 4K P30 production. And then we have the Mini 4K, which supports up to 4K P60. Both systems will support up to 8 inputs. If you're using 4K on the Mini X, you have a maximum of 4 live sources. The Mini 4K has up to 8 4K sources. But crucially with the Mini 4K is you have 4 direct NDI inputs on the back of the Mini 4K. So you can connect cameras and converters directly into the back of the unit, like the PTZ3 and PTZ UHD, and actually take power, control and Ethernet into the back of the unit there. So again, we've got 2 form factors, both with the same software, both operate very much the same way. Just bear in mind that resolution limit of 4K P30 or 4K P60. But we've got a model where you can use existing devices, and another one if you want to move completely into NDI today. And both of those share exactly the same Mini X form factor. So on the front panel, you have those direct audio inputs, so you can connect your microphones, your audio, a pair of headphones and speakers as well for your production, and that will then allow you to produce sort of cracking shows just like we are today as well. So just as a quick summary as well, there's quite a whole wealth of features riding on the Mini X. As we say, those basically range from everything from having those direct NDI inputs, those direct HDMI inputs on the back, high definition switching, streaming and recording, 8 video inputs and 4 rendered outputs, fully compatible with NDI of course, inbuilt streaming to Facebook Live, Twitch and more, along with inbuilt recording, built-in video titling and motion graphics, and multi-channel audio mixing, just as you've come to expect from the TriCaster product line. But there's one big feature that I want to bring to your attention, which is a brand new feature that we have on this product line called Live Link. Now, what is Live Link? Well, you will have seen it mentioned in the video there, but Live Link is a new technology that we've brought on board, which allows you to run not just graphics in the animated buffers on your TriCaster, but also bring in HTML. Now, what does that mean? Well, if we just go across to my TriCaster that's running here right now, this is a TriCaster 2 Elite, and this is the one that I'm using to drive today's show. If I just go into the buffers here, and I'm just going to go into an animated buffer down the bottom, you can see that there's a brand new tab in our animated buffers. So the animated buffers are down here. We have 10 of them in the bottom right, available on every model of TriCaster. We click the plus icon and we hit web browser. Now, what I can do is I'm just going to go into here and go to youtube.com, because that's where we're currently streaming today, and hit enter. And you can see that I've now got a little preview. And I can actually interact with this web page in the TriCaster. So what I can do is, I could go in here and search for Highway, AVS for example, and you can see I've now got Highway's page here on YouTube. So I'm just going to select that, and you can now see all the videos that we've done. So here's today's webinar running live. So I'm not going to load that in because that will just loop round. But the nice thing with this is a full web browser that lives in every animated buffer. Now, if I just minimize that now, and I'm just going to hit OK and hit OK, you can see that the YouTube page is actually loaded up within my animated buffer. So what that means is I can now go into the buffer on today's program, and I can go inputs, load up buffer number 3 down here. And if I fade that up, you can see now that I can actually make the highway source live on air down the bottom. So let me just put that back into here. So I'm just going to turn that on. You can see I'm fading that on and off. So just to show you that working on air. Now, what I can then do is I'm just going to drop the same thing into our switcher here. So let's just go buffers, buffer 3. And you can now see that that's now fully on air on picture-in-picture. I'm just going to move this out of the way so you can see us interact with it. Now, that's loaded up as a source, and of course I can rotate it and position it on screen just like I do everything else within a TriCaster. But if I now open up the little web link button in the TriCaster and I interact with the web page here, you can see that that web page is now interacting live. So if I play this video here on YouTube, you can now see that I'll actually be able to play that video live as a source into my video production, and of course I can make that larger or bigger at any point that I want, and that enables me to actually bring those live video sources into any video production, and those are now enabled directly in from any web source. It doesn't have to be YouTube, but you know, this can really be anything that we want to bring in directly into our TriCaster, and that's the power of LiveLink, is be able to bring in automatically all of those sources directly in as HTML within the system there as well. So what I'm just going to do now is let's just go back to our main show here today, and I want to talk about another thing that we have that we can do with this LiveLink technology. Now, it's not just about loading web pages and HTML5 into the system, but we can also now use a brand new product from VizRT called Flowix. Now, Flowix is a business that's been around for a number of years. They've actually won awards at NAB in 2019 for Best in Show for Graphics. And we can actually now offer that through our channel because the Flowix is now part of the VizRT group of products. So what does Flowix mean? Well, Flowix is basically web-based graphics system that you can run in your browser. And it starts here on the Flowix webpage. If you are a TriCaster 2 Elite or 1 Pro customer, you can actually register for a free 30-day demo now and actually try Flowix out. But it's really, really straightforward and simple to use in that it has an inbuilt graphics creation tool, so you create your graphics on the web. Not only that, but you can also bring in content from all the major social media platforms through an add-on subscription to it, which allows you to bring sources from Instagram, Facebook, Twitter and more directly into the graphics. So your graphics operators can be anywhere with an internet connection because this is based in the cloud. You can then also moderate and organize your social media content through Flowix from anywhere on the internet. And then you can actually operate those graphics anywhere on the internet too, because this is all hosted in the cloud through your web browser. Not only can you operate, but you can output your graphics as an HTML output on the internet through any web page, which means you can load those Flowix graphics directly into any of the animated buffers on your TriCaster Mini X, which means you can then load those Flowix graphics in real time into your live production. So let's take a quick look at how that works live. So what I'm now going to do is I'm just going to switch back over to my laptop right now, and let's just show you how this is going to work directly. So here on my computer is the Flowix web page, and I basically can log in to that web page, and that then is going to take me through to the main Flowix site. So when you're logged into Flowix, you basically have what we call experiences. And experiences are the different groups of templates and systems that are running. So we've got a whole load of demo templates running here. We have ones that have been running for IBC, so news, game shows, fan engagement, esports. I mean, almost anywhere that you can think we might want to use graphics. So what we're going to do is we're going to load up the IBC news template, and that consists of a number of different elements that we have here. So we have flows. Now, flows are where we can gather social media from across the internet. So this one, for example, is a data flow that pulls from both Twitter and Instagram and searches for the hashtag of IBC 2022, because that's when we search for it. And also Twitter, we're searching for the word IBC. We can actually tell it what language we want to collect or ignore. We can tell it what locations to collect or ignore. Do we want verified accounts or do we want it safe? You can configure all of this in the data flows side. Once you've got your data flows built out in your experiences, you can even create web pages. So here we've got a web page that's got a poll. Now what this means is you could actually host a poll online or on your web page that your audience can interact with, and they can click and vote on things in here, and this data will pull through into Flowix too. So we have the ability to pull social media, create interactive web widgets. We can also bring in broadcast data sources. So if you're doing things like the weather or scoreboards, you can bring data sources in from live sports or from the weather directly into the system. But after that, we actually have what we call mechanics. So the mechanics are where you build how you want things to actually start operating with the data flow. So you can gather that interactivity. But more importantly of all, we can then create our Viz graphics package. Now, the graphics package is actually where we start creating our graphics in Flowix. So I'm just going to let that load up for a minute. But this is the online template builder. Now, for anybody that's maybe used Adobe products before or Flash in the past, you know, it's very intuitive and that everything is built of layers and different areas that you can bring up. We have different boxes that you can drag and drop into the product for text, for graphics, for title crawl, and you can build all these different elements and data streams together in the web page. And here you can also test them out. So we can turn them on and off and actually look at how things will animate in. So we have an animated timeline, the ability to change the text and all of that. And you can, while you're building, you can actually test out your graphics on the web page. And as I say, this is completely done through a web user interface. There's no standalone software or computers needed to make this work. When you've built your design for Flowix, you can then open the control output. And this is where our operator would operate the graphics. Again, it's done through a web page, and I can turn on and off the different elements within Flowix as we go along, and we can operate them here, and this will actually then operate the graphics that are coming out. Now, you'll see some bits here, like here, that say location and live, and it gives me an overlay control down the bottom. So here where it says San Antonio, I can write Highway 2022 and hit update, and that now updates the graphic in the top here. So now it says Highway 2022 in the corner. So we can actually give our operators different controls within the system. Here we've got some comments that we can bring on screen from social media. Now, if you want to bring your social media comments and graphics in, these are going to, of course, need moderation. So Flowix offers the ability for people to moderate by clicking on the moderation button, and here someone can actually manage the comments that come in on social media, what's allowed to be published or not be published, which in turn is made available to our graphics operator on their end where they have the graphics control. So very fluid, very, very easy to actually run, and incredibly powerful tool all round to operate your graphics. But how do we bring those graphics into the TriCaster? Well, as I say, we have the output page on Flowix. So if I hit the open output here now, the open output is going to give me a web link from the graphics package. And you can see that that's now rendering and updating the graphics as it comes through. I can copy this URL link here. And if we go back to my TriCaster and I go into my animated buffers again, I'm just going to open up animated buffer number 1 quickly now on the TriCaster. I can then go into that web browser and I can actually enter the URL of Flowix in my live link. I can now hit OK on that, and now that will start coming up in the buffer. So you can now see on the bottom is we have those Flowix graphics now live on screen. So if we just go back to my laptop quickly, and I'm just going to move this out the way a little bit just so you can see it nice and clearly. Minimize that down. Now, if I turn this on and off in the bottom of the screen, you can actually see that as I interact and operate with the graphics here, it's actually operating the graphics on my TriCaster through the internet. And all of these graphics will update live and operate live online and actually come through onto the system directly into the TriCaster there. So one thing I just want to do quickly, I don't know if you just want to switch over to your camera feed there, Biola or Fauza. What we've done is we've actually taken these graphics directly into the live show here today on both Biola and Fauzia's system as well. So they've taken exactly the same web link that I've got in my production, and we're now sending that into the system over there. So if either of you would like to bring up your live program feed, Biola or Fauzia, I can show our guests what this then looks like. So if you just look on buffer number 1 there in the switcher row, if I start turning on and off my graphics here in London, you can see that those same graphics are now also operating and updating on the live feed in the program window on Fauzia's system where she's based over in Kenya. So just like we can here as well, also on Biola's system, same graphics that I'm controlling here in London, and as I turn these different elements on and off, we can actually start bringing all of those different pieces together, which means not only now can we link NDI across the internet like we did in our last webinar with Highway, but we can also now actually start bringing the graphics together too across the internet. So incredibly powerful tools that we can use to bring together for your live production as well. So I'm just going to turn that off for a minute. Of course, we'll take any questions at the end around any of this. But Flowix and LiveLink together are an incredibly powerful addition to any live production workflow. And as I say, it's not just about with the Flowix side too. As we say, by having that in the middle, it now means that your graphics can be designed anywhere, moderated anywhere, operated anywhere, rendered anywhere, and sent out anywhere on the internet, just as we can do with NDI as well. But there's more to this, because Flowix isn't only exclusive to the TriCaster Mini X. The good news is that actually with Flowix, this is actually usable on every current TriCaster that we have on the market, and this extends all the way across to our whole current TriCaster family. So TriCaster Mini 4K and Mini X now have LiveLink if you update your software to use with the HTML buffers. The 410 Plus, TC1 and TriCaster 2 Elite systems all support LiveLink, which means you can use HTML5 content in your animated buffers. But also this feature is coming to the brand new TriCaster TC1 Pro, which is the latest of our professional line of systems in the TriCaster line. So the TriCaster 1 Pro is a system that very, very much sits just one down from the TriCaster 2 Elite. And with that, the TriCaster 1 Pro is going to offer you 16 live inputs at full 4K, You have 4 SDI inputs on the back and much, much more. So very quickly, I'm just going to play the TriCaster One Pro video for you, just so you can see exactly what that system is all about. So that's the TriCaster One Pro. So that's the latest in our rack mount line, and as you saw, has all the same compelling features that you expect from TriCaster, but has 4 SDI inputs, 4 SDI outputs on there, 16 live sources, and full 4K support. But one thing that makes this superior product to, say, our existing TC1 is the fact that we've brought Live Call Connect to the One Pro. So for those of you who may have seen last time's webinar, but for those not, as a reminder, Live Call Connect is about making video conferencing and video calls more engaging, very much like the one that we're here today. So Live Call Connect is being used to bring me into Fausia and Biola's systems directly across the internet. So this was about using video sources, making them more visually engaging. And Live Call Connect supports Zoom, Discord, Tencent, Slack, but also now FaceTime, Messenger and WhatsApp directly on the box. So I'm joining today's webinar through Zoom by using Live Call Connect on my TriCaster 2 Elite. That's how I'm sending the output from my live production to you today. And it provides on the One Pro up to 4 callers with an automatic mix minus and inbuilt global talkback. Like all our current line of TriCasters, you still have 2 channels of Skype TX, so you can use Skype and Teams with Skype TX. But for Live Call Connect, you can use Teams with that as well. What it's going to do is on the One Pro system is it'll allow you to separate up to 4 callers from any video call, whether that's on any of those applications that I've mentioned, and turn them into individual video sources. On the TriCaster 2 Elite, you have 9, but on One Pro, you have 4. Like all inputs on every TriCaster, we support keying, color, cropping, which is how I'm able to put myself in the virtual set that you see me in today. And that applies to the Live Call Connect inputs as well. In turn, that means that you can take those 4 callers, even your remote guests and callers, and put them into a virtual set, just as you saw with Fausia earlier on. Both me and Fausia are both on the same screen, but obviously I'm in London, Fausia's in Kenya, and we're able to link our video conferences together to actually bring us in, and that's how we're doing that with Live Call Connect there. With the TriCaster One Pro and with the 2 Elite, this is very much about being able to connect to any source anywhere. So of course we have NDI, we have 4 SDI inputs on the One Pro, we have SRT, RTMP, RTSP and RTP input, all the features of Live Call Connect, and of course Skype TX, all available as sources in and out of your TriCaster system. Now, you may have seen some videos online that we did. So last year we did the WLF Awards for VisRT's charity, and here we combine TriCaster with TalkShow, with Zoom, with my TriCaster here at home in a live stream, enabling us to produce online award ceremonies. During the pandemic, my colleague Zoltan and I have produced video conferences in virtual sets where we can inhabit the same space, despite the fact we're many hundreds of miles apart in completely different countries. And if you'd like to look back and watch the webinar that we did last December, then that's where we did our first webinar together using NDI Bridge. So Fauzia, Biola and myself are all fully connected, able to share sources across the internet, even control each other's cameras and production systems. So if you'd like to see that in action, please do check out on the Highway YouTube site, and you can check out the webinar that we did this time last year too. But all of these technologies and techniques are of course possible with the TriCaster One Pro as well. So that's the latest from us on NDI and the TriCaster line. But just to wrap up, I just want to talk about one more product that we've recently announced, which is a slightly different change of direction for Newtek in terms of our product line. We're not going anywhere with TriCaster, we're not going anywhere with live production, but we recognise that actually there's quite an interesting space that people are using NDI, and that is for teaching, training and meetings. So we mentioned the TriCaster Mini X earlier on. In fact, what we've seen people doing is actually building classrooms and meeting rooms around the very same parts that we've discussed today. So the free NDI tools, our NDI cameras, now they have microphone input, the Spark I/O connected devices that allow us to input and output from NDI into a network, and also TriCaster to create classrooms, meeting rooms and teaching rooms. Now, the TriCaster is an incredibly powerful tool for creating live production, as you've seen today. But for some people, they find maybe that's a little bit too much. Maybe you just want to be able to record some sources in a picture-in-picture. Maybe you only want to do live streaming. And maybe you want to build these things across multiple different rooms as well. Well, that's where our CaptureCast line products comes in. But before I get to that, I also just want to talk about mobile devices, because this is something else that people tend to overlook, in that with every TriCaster system that you now buy, we provide a free NDI HX camera that allows you to use your iOS phone or tablet, a 4K Wi-Fi camera. But we also have a camera app available for Android, and we also have a screen sharing application available for iOS. This allows people to then, not only we're using physical devices and free software for laptops, but of course we have free to paid mobile applications that you can use with an iPhone or iOS device, and also now with Android devices too. These have proven incredibly powerful tools for teaching and training. We have professors at universities in England using the handheld camera to be able to show lab work, for example, during the pandemic, but these tools are continuing now too. And it's on that now that I want to talk to you a little bit more about CaptureCast. And the good news is with our CaptureCast products, the NDI HX camera and the NDI HX capture applications are completely free of charge for those customers that are using the CaptureCast device. But what is CaptureCast? Well, it's an appliance that's designed to live on your network to enable making online streaming and teaching and training easier than ever before. It's a simple appliance, and as I say, we have people building rooms around NDI and TriCaster and cameras, but CaptureCast sits on the network outside of the room and enables that room and those sources from the NDI network to be live streamed to your online audience. So we have streaming encoders in TriCaster, but CaptureCast has its own, supporting Wowzer, Facebook, YouTube, Dacast, Vimeo, and also custom streaming destinations. But it also has inbuilt recording and, crucially, publishing. This means that the CaptureCast is our first product that not only allows you to record and upload content to, say, YouTube or Vimeo, we can do that on TriCaster already, but it has automated hooks that allows you to publish to learning management systems like Kaltura and Panopto and Opencast. This allows you to then have your online audience after the event, and if you're teaching or training, they can actually then look at those videos through the Panopto interface or Kaltura. The CaptureCast itself has inbuilt scheduling, automation, enrichment, and also automation tools built within itself. So effectively, it's almost like a content creation robot that can live on your network. But it scales. This is the great thing about CaptureCast, is it allows you to do multiple rooms. So if we look at how a CaptureCast would operate, this box is going to sit on my network with my NDI enabled classrooms or meeting rooms. I can then, as an administrator, choose what NDI sources go into a template. The administrator then creates a streaming template and an e-learning template that they can publish to. And the user simply goes onto a schedule on the box, chooses the time and date that they want to record or stream, which template they want to use, and the CaptureCast does everything else. It creates the picture-in-picture template. It can capture the individual sources as part of that template. It will then live stream it to your streaming destination. It will then publish it to a learning management platform like Kaltura, Panopto or Opencast, which in turn allows a live audience to watch your production, but also allows an audience later on, i.e. students or members of staff, to log into a learning management platform and look at that content later on. But from an operator standpoint, it's pre-configured by your admin. So if you're doing presentations or simple live streams, you can just focus on scheduling and presenting rather than setting up a complex live production every time, which makes it a very, very powerful tool indeed. So what I'm now going to do, I'm just going to show you a very quick overview of the CaptureCast interface. It can do a lot more than I'm showing you here today. But again, if you're particularly working within the educational corporate video space, then of course, please ask Highway to get in touch and we can arrange a full online demo and show you that working with either Panopto or Kaltura too. So let's just go back to my laptop now quickly, and I'm just going to switch back again over to the main user interface. So here, I've actually logged into the CaptureCast appliance on my desktop. But let's show you the actual hardware appliance itself first. So if we just go down here into my rack, I'm just going to zoom down onto the floor here. And down here on my desk at the floor, you can see the CaptureCast. So this is the CaptureCast running here. It's a very thin appliance. So it's a 1RU appliance on there with your network ports, with your standard PC ports available on the front. So it is very, very compact, and that's running here on my computer today. So if I now go into a web browser here, I can log in as an administrator now. So the idea is this box doesn't use NDI to be interacted with. It interacts through a web page on your local network. And I can log in as an administrator, and I'm presented with the CaptureCast dashboard that's running here. Now, what I can do as an administrator is, as an administrator, I can go in and I can choose the available cameras that I have running here as sources. So for this demo, I'm going to use my webcam, and I'm also going to use my laptop. So these are just free NDI tools that I'm going to use for this demo. Those are highlighted, and then what can happen is I can create a template for this. So by going in and creating a new template, I'm just going to hit start, and I'm going to call this one Highway Demo 3. And I'm going to call this Demo Template. And I can put tags so I can search it. So Highway 2022. I'm just going to hit next. And you can see I've got the two sources that I want to select here on the back end. So I've got a laptop coming in. I've also got a couple of different sources that are coming into the system. And I can bring those in as a template. So what I'm then going to do is I'm just going to hit next, and I can now add devices to that template. So I'm going to add the laptop source that's coming in here, and I'm also then just going to go back one. Let me just add another source. So I should have added my other cameras. And I can now start laying out these different sources on the system here. So I can make these all different sizes. I can choose the different presets that I want to make them. And I can lay those different sources and templates out as I see fit into the system as a live source. So once you've actually got those templates built up, what can actually then happen is I can then not just do that, but I can also do things like add a colored background to it if I want to. I can also start adding images and graphics. So if I want to, I can actually add a branded logo on anywhere that I want to. So in this case, I'm just going to go in and take the one from my webinar today. So let's just go in. And should have the highway logo. I'm just going to grab a slide. So I can then upload a graphic image here done. So I can bring that into the system, and then I can add that image into the website as well. And we can basically start adding all of these different sources within the system as we want to, depending on how we want to lay them out. We can then set up the encoder settings and change the bit rate. And then once that's done, you can choose where, when the recording done, it uploads to. So I could say Vimeo, Kaltura, FTP upload or more. I can also set up a live streaming template to stream to YouTube or Ustream and backup. We do have something called enrichment, which automatically tags the content. So if I had slides going into this, it would actually automatically put a marker wherever I do a slide. And then it can give me a summary at the end. So that's my job done as an administrator. Now, I can also go into the system here and I can then log out and log in as a user. But as a user, what I can then do is I can do one of two things. If I'm coming in as a member of staff, I won't have access to any of the administrator pages, but I can set up a quick capture. I can do it highway demo, and I'm going to select the template and I'm going to record this for say 2 minutes. Like that. Now, once you set up the duration, that's it. We've got that recorded. I can start quick capture, and what happens is this: the capture cast will automatically start recording those sources. It'll bring them in live, so that's both my webcam and my presentation template. And once it's finished, it will actually automatically upload that to whatever learning platform that I want to use, or start bringing that in together into the system. Now, when that the other way I can interact with this as a system is by going into the scheduler, and here I can create a calendar. So say if I know that tomorrow I'm going to do another webinar, I could hit schedule recording, and I could say highway webinar 3 at 4 this time. Select the template that I want to use, which is the one that we just made. And I can choose a date and time. So in this case, I'm going to say tomorrow at 1 o'clock for an hour, I'm going to start this session. Now, what that does is, now I've booked it in the calendar on the box. As soon as it hits 1 o'clock tomorrow, the capture cast will start recording and live streaming, I've set it up, that live event at that time tomorrow. So it's fully schedulable, fully automated, but also allows us to have some control and very, very easy way of working, so that people who aren't very technical can actually start producing video content very quickly and very easily too. Now, the one last bit to this really is, aside from creating templates and as administrator and booking through a calendar, is the managing page as well. So through the managing page, this allows people to go in, and I'm just going to open up another example one that I've done here, you can see the recordings that have been done by time and date. I can actually open up, and if I play this back, you can see I have a picture-in-picture recording of this session. If I hit the camera button here, I can actually switch now in this recording after the fact between the different recordings that I have that are actually running on the box. So not just the picture-in-picture, but I can actually switch between the individual sources, because we don't just record the composite, we can record the individual cameras there too. And if I hit the edit button on any one of these, by hitting that, I can actually go into a basic editor, and within the basic editor, you can actually go in and actually even trim the start and the end. So I can actually mark in and out on this and actually trim the video recording, because maybe at the start there were some bits I didn't want. I can also choose which camera I'm looking at and editing as well through the system. So all in all, a very, very powerful system that can sit on your network. And if you combine that with the power of a learning management system like Kaltura or Panopto, then your users can actually interact with that on the back end and actually look at those recordings and footage at the end there as well at the end of the session too. So just to wrap this bit up about CaptureCast, the good thing about the CaptureCast is, just like we can with TriCaster, you know, you don't just have to have a box per room. The idea is you might have multiple rooms with NDI sources, with cameras, microphones, laptops and presentations. You might have rooms that sometimes have TriCaster in too. But the CaptureCast can just sit on the network, work with multiple rooms, and is accessible by multiple spaces, enabling you to build learning classrooms and teaching spaces using NDI, just as you create video production. Of course, as you scale out, if you want to build more and more classrooms, more and more teaching spaces, you can add more and more CaptureCast to accommodate that. And finally, we have the CaptureCast Command Center, which is a piece of software that lives on the network and can control multiple CaptureCast units in turn working with multiple rooms across the internet too. So on that, really, to wrap up, what are we talking about now? Well, not just are we talking about NDI for live production anymore, but this is now Newtek and NDI for corporate AV and teaching too. Of course, NDI starts from free with free applications through the NDI Tools suite that you can get started with. It helps you save and reduce on costs. NDI and Newtek products can be operated by anyone in an even simpler way than ever with the CaptureCast if you're doing simple picture-in-picture streaming. And of course, with NDI cameras and converters, we can enable broadcast quality video and audio through NDI HX3 on our new PTZ3 HD and PTZ3 UHD cameras. And all of this is distributed and accessible by everything across your local network, across the public internet. But now, not only do you have the full power and production capability of TriCaster, but you also now have the option to have everything simply scheduled, automated, and integrated with the Newtek CaptureCast as well. And on that note, I just want to say thank you very much for your time and attention today. As you said, there's those new products that were brought in, which are both those cameras, CaptureCast, and of course, brand new TriCaster Mini X and Flow X. And on that note, I'd just like to say, does anybody have any questions that we can answer? I've seen some over there in the chat. And on that, I'll hand over to Fauzi and Biola so we can go through and look at any questions that you guys may have. Thanks again.
Wow. What a wonderful presentation, Liam. Definitely, I don't know if anyone is not impressed by what NDI is capable of at this moment. I don't know what it is will impress them. Liam, I am personally amazed. And guys, I just want to mention a few things. We have some amazing promos on the TriCaster Mini X and the PTZ3 cameras, great discounts for you. The promotion ends on 31st December. So make sure that you grab your unit before it runs out. And then also we will have a raffle at the end of this. So if you're a lucky winner, make sure you subscribe to our social media pages. And also, Liam will have some few questions for you at the end of this. So you could be a lucky winner for a free NDI 4K converter. Guys, free NDI 4K converter. Yes. So Liam, I just want to point out a few things. I think, first of all, the Flowix by Visa3 is just an amazing software. I think having the ability to create graphics from wherever you are and being able to use it from anywhere in the world, that is just great. And also having Live Call Connect, adding the capability of having Facebook, Messenger, and WhatsApp. That is something basically almost all of us use every day. So having that integration into the Live Call Connect is just amazing. And this this is a gadget everyone has. All you need is a good camera, and I think nowadays most of the Android, iOS mobile phones, they come with good camera resolutions that you can actually integrate in your workflows. So I think it's a very good thing to have integrated with our new TriCaster system. And without saying much, because I also have so much I could say, I just want to give Biola a few minutes to say something. Biola, what do you think about Liam's presentation?
So about today's presentation is fantastic as well, I can say. It's mind-blowing how much you can do with your production. It's easy now to combine the production team all around the world. If you have your director to be away from town and you need him to do something, you don't have to be physically present to make it happen. It's like doing magics, and it's quite interesting how much you can do. I believe it now boils down to the power of thoughts. As much as you can think about your production requirements, you can make it happen. And this is a fantastic thing for us, for every production, every producer out there, every storyteller, every teacher. There is something for everybody with Newtek, and that's an amazing thing. Thank you very much, Liam. You've done a great thing for us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Biola. I think I'll just go straight to the Q&A session. We had some questions that during the discussion were asked. I'll just go through those few questions, and then I'll give you a chance to also do the few questions from Nigeria. I think I'll just put like 2 or 3 questions, and then Liam can tackle them, because there's so many of them. And also we have others that have been tuning in during the session. I have John Timori who asked how to integrate TriCaster and Microsoft Teams, and Liz, how to incorporate the replay into a live stream. Liz, I hope you're noting those down. And also we have Dawson asking, what is the process of installing the Newtek TriCaster for each CPU? I think some of those questions are just handled, and then let Liam handle the technical one. How to integrate the TriCaster and Microsoft Teams. John, you can contact us immediately after this. I can do a live demo for you on how to integrate the TriCaster and Microsoft Teams. That will be a very quick one. And then also on the process of installing the Newtek TriCaster for which you can use as soon as you have the unit purchased. We usually offer a free installation to our clients, and it's actually very pretty basic. So something we can assist you locally, Highway Kenya. I will give you the details on how you can contact us after this. And then also, this one I think you'll have to check Liam. Saida is asking, why was the TriCaster 8000 removed from the app?
Oh, sorry, Faz. Yeah, my audio's gone a bit bad. I do apologise. So it's an upgrade from the 8000, sorry?
And someone just asked, why was it removed from the market? The TriCaster 8000.
Oh, is it still on the market? Sorry.
So Saida, there you go, you have your answer. And then also, the maximum camera inputs a TriCaster can have, I think this one depends on what TriCaster model you have. So we have the
maximum is 32 on the TriCaster 2 Elite. So the minis are 8, The TC1 is 16, and the 1 Pro, so 1 Pro is 16, and then the 2 Elite is 32. So the maximum is 32 live inputs. And bear in mind, you might not have a physical connector for them all. That's really where NDI will come into the system.
Thank you, Liam. We have Vincent asking any new product in the market. I think Liam has mentioned all these products that are just new in the market. Some of you have heard of them, others are totally new. Yes, Liam?
Yeah, I mean, these are all brand new products to us that we've spoken about today. So PTZ UHD, we launched about a month ago. So that's a brand new system to market. The TC1 Pro was announced this summer, and then both the Mini X, Flow X, we launched at IBC this year in September. So what you've seen today is very much the latest and greatest product from Newtek. We're not going to stop there, of course. We're always going to be bringing new things to market, new ways of you creating video better going forward. So we're definitely not stopping there. But yeah, today is very much about showing the very, very latest products and technologies we have to make your productions better.
I think I'll hand over to Mr. Biola to take us through some questions from Nigeria while I look at other questions.
All right, thank you, Fauzia. I've got some questions here as well. There is Omar from Dove Media asking that with NDI, you've been able to link signals from 2 different locations, but needs more clarification about that. That question is not very clear to me, so I'm probably reach out to this person personally and then resolve that. The next one is, I tried streaming with TriCaster. Each time I log the details, it pops up with verification messages from government. Is there something you can say about that here?
It depends on what those messages are. I mean, the only messages you may get on any TriCaster when you log in will be would be if you've installed any software that shouldn't be on there. So if you're getting the red exception box, just make sure you go in, remove any third-party applications that we don't support, because the TriCaster isn't a computer, it's computer-based, but it is a live production system. So make sure you don't have any applications running on there that you shouldn't otherwise have running, because that's normally a main thing in the messages. If you continue to have problems, let Highway know, or you can go to the newtek.com support page, and there's now a web form where you can enter your details if you're having issues to actually get in contact with someone in support. We do offer different levels of support now as well through Highway that we call ProTech, which can get you up to telephone support if you want as well. But yeah, please get in touch with Highway, have a look and see what there can be to resolve any other messages you may be getting. You might want to do a system restore, but worst case, of course, we can support an email support ticket with Newtek for you there, sir.
So there you are, guys. There isn't, the TriCaster is not a computer, and we shouldn't deal with it that way. So the next question I have here is, the TriCaster Mini X, can it be connected to a laptop, or do you have to get another device for it to work? Okay, I think I understand this question. So that's from Ibioloa. So the TriCaster Mini X is actually another brand of TriCaster. It's not a software, to be precise. It's another TriCaster that you need to get to work. That you need to get for you to work. So for you to have TriCaster Mini X, it's another brand of TriCaster. It's not a software that works on all other TriCasters. So it's a different unit that you need to have.
Yeah, but
so,
you can connect, the Mini X, you can connect laptops directly to the HDMI ports. So if you want to get content off a laptop, you can just plug it into that HDMI port there, and you better bring that in as a live source. So you don't need any conversion or anything. It's just straight HDMI directly in there. The other way of working with the laptop is, of course, use NDI tools. So you can have that studio monitor. You can interact with the user interface through NDI KVM, but also send video and audio in and out via NDI off a laptop too. So many different ways that you can work with an external laptop as a source or as a control point, even with the Mini X as well.
Thank you, Liam. So there's another question here from Ibiolo asking that do we offer paid training for these devices? Yes, there are level of trainings we can have, and we can always have that discussed after this webinar. But you can have paid devices, and even if you get to take advantage of the promos we have online, you actually have free trainings and not you don't have to pay for it. Thank you. And the next question here is from Emmanuel from Node Media as well. It's asking that when you pick when you pick a source with a live link from HTML, does it come with the audio on Flowix, or you have to pick the audio source separately?
I'm just going to try and find out for you. Actually, let me have a quick look. Let's have a look. I don't think we have audio support at the moment. It is just image support at this time. Tell you what, let me just look at one little thing. So I'm just wondering. Yeah, it is video only that comes in through Flowix at the minute. So, you know, there's no audio support right now. But I will ask. I will put that forward to engineering, because, you know, if the fact that we can play HTML video in there, you'd expect that we would have some ability for audio. But let me have a look into that as well, Biona. Maybe we can come back to Emmanuel on that one when we get an answer on that.
All right, yeah, thanks. And I think the last one I have here is there an upgrade for previous TriCaster TC1 to accommodate the live call connects?
Sadly not. There isn't a software upgrade because the One Pro has more advanced hardware inside it, mainly around the GPU. That's the main thing. What we do have, though, is we do offer a full trade-up program, as Highway have been promoting today. We do have a trading program running to the end of the month. So if you wanted to, you can trade up your TC1 to a TC1 Pro or 2 Elite if you want to have Live Call Connect. If you're not in a position to trade up, you can do some fantastic workflows again with TC1 and NDI tools, particularly the webcam input and screen capture application. If you're using Microsoft Teams, that automatically supports NDI too. So there's still plenty of ways of using your TC1. But if you really, really want to work with Live Call Connect, then get in touch with your local Highway representative and have a chat with them about the trade-in offers that we have running between now and Christmas to move up to the One Pro or 2 Elite system. One thing I did forget to mention about the One Pro, and just like with the 2 Elite, is you do not need premium access anymore with those systems. So with the TriCaster 1, we did have a thing called premium access. It was an ongoing subscription for some of the add-in features. That is now included on the One Pro and the 2 Elite. So there's no ongoing running costs for features with those systems there. I did notice one more comment from Emmanuel about Flowix, if it's free or paid. It is a paid for subscription service. We haven't announced pricing yet, but it will be on a monthly subscription, which you can then subscribe to Flowix to be able to use it, and is scalable on that basis. So I'm hoping we'll have some product announcements soon. But I said, if you're on a TriCaster 1 Pro or 2 Elite right now, you can, of course, get that free 30-day demo to start with.
Thank you, Liam. I know some other questions are dropping, but for now, I would say please keep your questions coming, and we can still attend to you before the end of the day. Otherwise, we'll reach you personally. The answers will be there. Fawzia, please take over.
Sorry, Fawzia, we think you're muted, I think.
Sorry about that.
There we
go. I still have a few more questions for you, Liam. I'm not letting you go off that fast today. So we have Andrew asking, with the NDI tools, is there a way of controlling bandwidth usage on the NDI multicast broadcast in the network?
Yeah, there is actually, and it's actually NDI bridge. So the reason we don't give the ability to manually adjust bandwidth of NDI is NDI is designed to work with everything. So if it has an NDI logo on it, it should work with another NDI device. So we're very controlled about the data quality. But if I just pop over to my laptop again quickly for you, and if we just go across to NDI bridge. So that's NDI Bridge, is the green guy here. So this, if you remember from our last webinar, is the tool that we use to connect NDI across the public internet. Now, once Bridge actually starts, if I just minimize it, there's another mode to Bridge. Now, Bridge doesn't just work across the internet, which is your host and join modes, but also there's a local mode that you can use as well. Now, in all three modes, if you click on the cog on the bottom right corner here, you get the encoder settings. So this is the encoder settings of what Bridge passes through. So into Bridge, you might have full NDI or NDI-HX coming in, but what you want to do is change the output. So I can change to NDI-HX, H.264 codec, and I can adjust the data rate anywhere from 1.6 megabit all the way up to 64 megabit, depending on how I want to send it. If I want to send full NDI, then I'm going to send the full NDI bandwidth that's used today. But say we want to save on some bandwidth, I'm going to set NDI-HX at H.264 here, and what I'm going to do is use the local mode on my network. So I'm going to press start. What that now does is, if I now open up the Studio Monitor application that we were using earlier on here, and I go into my list, what you'll see now is in my list then under LJZbook, I've also got my local NDI sources, because these are sources that are being sent via Bridge. So I've got my local sources and my Bridge sources. Now under Bridge, if I say select the output now for my 2 Elite, let me just make sure the audio, yeah, it's on silent. I'm just going to set, let's choose something, let's choose the output from, I don't know, let's take the camera that I've got. What happens now is this is coming in now as a full camera. If I choose the camera from the Bridge, this is the same camera now coming in as 1.6 megabit. So I can actually really drop that data down by using Bridge. And as I said, this doesn't just work locally. If you want to save data locally, you can bring full NDI in and send it out as HX. But also, if you're using Bridge across the internet, that's also where you can control the bandwidth that you send and receive across the internet too. So hopefully, I hope that helps answer your question there.
Wow. That's a good demo. I hope Andrew, you got that from Liam, and really take the time to explain. I hope you understood that. And if you have other questions, just hesitate to ask. Liam, I still have some few more questions for you. We have Brandon asking which application can you use link and connect the TriCaster to operating system.
Oh, sorry. Could you write that in the chat? Sorry, sorry, Fauzi. I couldn't hear you properly. I don't know why. It might be my end. Sorry about that.
Can I check that again? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Brandon is asking which application can you use the link and connect to the TriCaster to operate remotely?
To direct which bit? Sorry.
To operate the TriCaster remotely, what application do you
Oh,
use?
to connect TriCaster remotely. So yeah, I mean, really, the only way that we would recommend doing that is using NDI Bridge, because there's two ways you can do it. The first way is to use NDI Bridge, because that would allow you to connect a computer to another Bridge instance anywhere in the world to connect up to your system there. Now, I might have a slide. Let me see if I can pull one out to illustrate what that would look like. The other way of doing it is to use remote desktop. Now, I'm going to be very honest here. We do not allow you to run remote desktop on your TriCaster. The reason for that is that basically, as we mentioned earlier with the customer that's getting the messages, the TriCaster is PC based, but it's not a PC because it's a production system. So we don't recommend that you run remote desktop software on our computers. What you can do is you could run remote desktop on a PC that's running Studio Monitor and then connect to that on the local network using NDI KVM. So that's just kind of like I'm doing here. So if I just, again, let's just pop over to my laptop quickly. If I open up Studio Monitor and select my TriCaster, you can see that I've got a KVM button. So my keyboard and mouse is now the keyboard and mouse for my TriCaster through NDI KVM. Now, if I use NDI Bridge, this interface would be available through Bridge at either end. So we'd have to have a PC at each remote site and connect to it that way. What you could do is, if you don't want to use Bridge, I could run TeamViewer or Remote Desktop on my computer here and connect to Studio Monitor that way. So that's one way you could use Remote Desktop. The other way of working is, of course, there are full cloud-based solutions from us as well through the VizRT side of our business that you can get to. But those are the ways I would recommend it. Would be NDI KVM through Bridge. Really is the quickest, easiest, most reliable and secure way of remotely controlling your TriCaster with no issues. And of course, our Newtek control surfaces, the 2-stripe and the 4-stripe, can be configured for Newtek professional services to work remotely across the internet too. So again, I hope that helps answer the question there. Recommended route is Bridge. If you really need to, remote desktop to a PC that's using Studio Monitor and use NDI KVM, but you'll definitely get the best results using NDI Tools Bridge.
There is something to note is that NDI Tools is free on ndi.tv website. And we have Kelvin asking, which is the most cost-effective way of video data storage? Yeah.
So the most video video data.
Yeah, cost-effective way, cost-effective way of video data storage.
For storage, in terms of like recording and archive, really with any TriCaster, you can use almost any PC compatible drive. Not all hard drives are created equal, unfortunately, for media. So with TriCaster, if you're just doing what I'd call cold storage, where you're just saving files for use later on, use any hard drive you want. But if you want a hard drive for recording or for editing off, then you're probably going to want to look at SSD type storage, but also any storage that you'd normally use for video editing. Because NDI recordings run at around 150 megabit to 250 megabit per second in 4K, you're going to need some storage that's pretty fast. We do make the NRS line of storage. So let me just open up the Newtek website a second. And I'm just going to switch across to my laptop again. So if you go over here on newtek.com, all of our TriCasters have inbuilt SSD storage now, even our entry-level ones. So, but if you want to go, you want something a bit more advanced, if you go to products and look at Newtek Remote Storage, Newtek Remote Storage is our editing storage that we build as Studio Network Solutions. And that is available in 3 models. There's the NRSD, which is the desktop 4-bay unit, offering 24 terabytes of network storage, through to the NRS16, offering 96 terabytes base storage. The 8 and the 16 are completely expandable, but these work beautifully with TriCaster because they can record NDI in its own right, but you can edit off them in Adobe Premiere, but we also have additional integration with the TriCaster product line too. So if you're looking for something serious for content, media editing, the remote storage is a very, very good option indeed. But alternatively, you can, as you said, things like SSD that are fast enough, or fast enough hard drives for media editing are sufficient for working with TriCaster. But again, Highway do carry a range of different media storage as well. So please do ask them about their recommendations, because it's all going to come down to your specific workflow for that.
So Fauzia, I have one quick question here. Somebody is asking that is it normal for the TriCaster to malfunction after an upgrade or after a new update was installed? I don't think that should happen except your upgrade is corrupted in any way. So what do you want to say about that, Ian?
No, we always have I mean, none of our systems should have a problem with an update. What can happen is, depending on how you do the update. So there is, normally I say to people to download from the Newtek site, download it locally and then install it manually. Because especially depending on the distance in the USA, there can be issues with the FTP. If you have a problem, you can always restore your TriCaster. So by using the restore partition on a TriCaster, it will take you back to how the TriCaster was when you bought it, and then you can upgrade again. And when we do a restore partition, we do not touch the C drive. We don't touch the D and E media drives. We only touch the C drive. So as long as you've backed up any graphics files or buffers or studio files on the C drive, then you can restore with confidence and upgrade again, because then we don't touch the media drives on your TriCaster when we do a restore. If you are having problems still, again, please get in touch with Highway about what the issue is there. We may need to get a support ticket going with the US and actually look at your specific case. But it's newtek.com/support if you'd like to start an email support case with us at Newtek there as well. On that, I should probably show people actually quickly the new way of reaching our support. So if you go to newtek.com, hit support at the top, there is a new option here. It says create a support case. If you just go into that there, that will take you to our support web form. You can fill in the information there that we need, and then one of our support team can get back to you via email. If you'd like a better quality support, i.e. phone support or faster support, please talk to your Highway representative about our ProTech offers and our ProTech program there as well to get better quality support too. But of course, ourselves and Highway, we're always here to help with that as well.
Any other question, Mr. Biela?
Well, we could go on and we'll find out. We'll spend another hour on questions. So I'll suggest for now, if there are any more questions, please drop it on the chat and we can always attend to it. I think right now, Fauzia, we want to say something about the promo we'll be running today, the giveaway, so that we can take your top of the questions.
Yeah, there's a video that is actually going to play at the end of this webinar with great promo discounts on the TriCaster Mini X PTZ3 cameras. Guys, make sure that you watch that video before you exit the stream. As well, Liam, you are to ask some few questions based on the presentation for us to be able to get the winners for the free NDI 4K converters. I think this is the perfect time while we see if there'll be any other questions. So back to you, Liam.
Sorry, I think I've missed something. I do apologise. Bear with me a second.
While we wait for Liam to get those questions, I think we received also a few questions that I'll be reaching out to you guys specifically because the questions are generally about support, training, and I think those are the questions that I actually left out. So I'll be reaching out to you guys after this, and we'll help you further on your questions. If you need any support, if you need any training in Kenya, in Uganda, in Tanzania, because in West Africa, we have Mr. Biela and our team in Nigeria to be able to help you in that. Yes, I think Liam, you ready?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. So, okay, the first question then today is, we've just launched a brand new NDI camera. What's the type of NDI that camera is using? Is it NDI HX1, NDI HX3, or NDI HX4?
Am I allowed to be a participant in that?
Sorry, can you hear me?
Am Am I allowed to participate in that as well? Can I win myself a
Not.
Daniela, will that be corruption?
Oh, got a response in the chat from Areva.
We have two participants raising their hands on Zoom. And if you're on YouTube, if there's any answer.
Well, I think we've got.
I think we need to collect the answers we have and then respond at the end of the question time. We have answers. So we have a minute for responses to each question, please. Just 1 minute for responses, especially.
So, okay, then shall we? Do you want to keep doing the other questions then, Biala?
I think so.
Okay, so how many inputs does the new TriCaster 1 Pro have? Is it 8, 16, or 32?
Someone is going to have an easy win on this one. Guys, keep your answers coming and you could win yourself a free NDI 4K contract.
And guys, please respond to the floor. Don't respond to me personally. Respond answering to everybody in the meeting.
Okay, so the next question is the new TriCaster Mini X. How many HDMI inputs does that have? Is it A, 5, B, 6, or C, 4? And the next question is the NDI PTZ3 family have got a unique connector on them for utilizing your professional audio. Is it a mini XLR, a full-size XLR, or stereo input on that camera? So you've got 3 options for professional audio. Is it mini XLR, XLR, or stereo input on the PTZ3 camera?
Guys on social media, when you're responding, kindly write the question you're responding to. So I'm just for a
Sorry, excuse me, sorry. Apologies, sorry about that. And then your very last question, the basically the Capture Cast appliance that we've just announced delivers 2 main outputs from the system. Are those outputs recording and green screen, streaming and audio, or streaming and recording? So which does the Capture Cast offer? Is it streaming and green screen, recording and audio, or recording and or streaming?
Well, guys, there got our 5 questions from Liam. As we await for the winner, I just want to mention to you again, guys, you have great discounts on Newtek products, the TriCaster Mini, the NBI PTZ3 camera, and a video is going to play immediately after this webinar. Be sure to watch that video and get to know about this amazing product. And the great discounts you can receive as well. interesting answers here on YouTube. I think we can play I think the 2-minute video on the promo products while we await to get the winner.
Thank you.
Yes, guys, I think you've seen the amazing offers that have just been played right now. You can save up to $4,000 on Newtek products. This offer ends 31st December this year. So you have to hurry and grab them while the offer still lasts. We have the Spark Mini 4K, we have the PTZ3 camera. Guys, this is an offer you cannot just let pass. It only comes once. Remember last year we had such. This year again, we don't know when next you're going to have such amazing offers. So don't miss out on the amazing discounts that have just been played on your screens. We'll have these discounts as well posted on our social media platforms, all of them. So you can follow up on our social media pages after this to see the promotions if you did not quite catch them. Liam and Biola, I think we can go back to our winners.
Yeah, we can indeed. So should we start? Should we start with the winners for Kenya then, Fazia?
Yeah, sure.
So I'm very pleased to announce the winner for the winner for Kenya is Timothy. Timothy, congratulations, and thank you very much for joining in on today's webinar.
Yes, Timothy, you have to come to our offices to get a free NDI 4K converter as promised on this webinar. So you are our lucky winner today, and make sure that you follow our social media pages and make sure you don't miss any chance like this. Thank you so much, Liam, for that.
No problem. Congratulations, Timothy.
Congratulations, Timothy. You have a winner, Mr. Viola. I think your mic is on.
Sorry, my mic was muted. Yes, it's quite a tie here in Lagos because we have quite a number of people here. So because Liam knows no one of them, he will be allowed to choose one winner, as we have a lot of them. I'm sending the names to Liam, and whoever the lucky pick is won't be the winner. So, Joel, can you please share the names together?
I'm gonna have to put. I feel like I need to put them on some paper and put it in a hat at this point. In fact, I'm going to write on some business cards and do exactly that because it's the only fair way to do it. So are you sending that on email there, Biola? So what are the two names, Biola?
Yes, so somebody share with you. I think Joel should be sharing that with you on WhatsApp or Michael.
Okay, 1 second. Not yet. Yeah, nothing through yet, guys. Sorry.
Okay, so because it's taking time, can I just share the name on the Zoom link?
Oh, so it's a big tie. I thought it was just two. Got quite a lot of ties. Okay, I can see who we got.
Yeah,
here.
it's quite a lot.
Okay, give me 1 sec. I'm going to grab a bit of paper because it's the only safe way to do this. Honestly.
Yeah, that's very interesting, Mr. Biel. I wish I was allowed to be a participant in that show as well.
Oh, that will be a front.
So,
that was very great participation. I think I hope
I'll just write the names down.
Liam is back. Okay, Liam is writing the names. Right?
I'm writing the names on bits of paper. That's what we're doing.
Liam is writing the names, guys. I'll just remind you again about the ongoing discounts, amazing discounts that will be posted on our social media pages immediately after this. And as well, immediately after this webinar, we are going to play another video showing the massive discounts we are having. You can save up to $4,000 in products. We have the TriCaster Mini, TriCaster Mini 4K, we have the Spark Plus, we have the 50 camera. So don't miss out on this offer, guys. It only comes once.
Okay, right, we've done it. We have some paper. That's a good start. Right, it's going in the hat. Just to prove it, your names are all in there, just so I'm keeping it all nice and fair for you, so it's all right. So, right, try and work out who the winner is. And the winner is... It's Omar's 360 Studio. So congratulations, Omar's 360 Studio. You're today's winner. There it's on there. If you can read my bad handwriting, but congratulations on winning that there as well. So well done.
Congratulations, 360 Studio.
Congratulations. So please reach out to our number one on those posts. I'll have a new schedule to copy a prize anytime from tomorrow. Congratulations and congratulations to every one of you.
The most fair elections I've seen so far. The most fair competition. Liam, you did great on that. Very transparent. Complaining, someone sorry, I won or anything. That was very smart. So yes.
Sorry, it took a little longer.
Timothy, officers within the regions to pick up your NDI converter starting anytime tomorrow. Offices are open, I guess, from 8 to 5 in Kenya. Mr. Biola, you can share your time.
So for everyone, I'm sure you will have a good time today. Liam wants to say a big thank you to you for being here with us. It's been an amazing time, and it's always an amazing time with you every time you come around to share things with us.
Likewise, it's always a great show with you all. So thank you for all your hard work. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Liam. So if you have any more questions or any inquiries, or you want to place your orders for any of these, sure know how to reach us. Our social media websites are there. Please reach us on the WhatsApp chat and as well walk into the office and make your orders and question whatever you want. It's been an amazing show. And thank you all for your time. We appreciate you for being able to leave your time out, come and join us to attend this. And I'm sure that the next webinar we'll be having will be greater and better than this. Probably then we could actually do more fun with NDI and other things that are coming along. Thank you again, everybody.
I think, Liam, will not be letting you go off for a very long time because with all these new products, all these advances on the NDI tools, I think we'll be having you again soon so that people can just be catching up with technology progressing.
I hope so. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you so much for the great presentation, Liam. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, everyone. Well, we'll look forward to seeing you all very soon and hope you all have a great time.
Thank you, Liam.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Please hold on, watch the videos before you leave. There's more for you to catch up on there.
And as usual, we have our social media pages. We are on Facebook, we are on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram. You can follow us on all these social media pages. All links you need to exchange right now. We also have an office number for Kenya that is +254 78 +254. Okay, that one just skipped me. Liam gave me too much information. I forgot my office number today, but again, you can see it on your screen. So make sure you call us if you have any inquiries, any support you need with any Newtek product. And I'll just allow Mr. Biola as well to give their social media handles.
We'll skip on that. We don't have that prepared today, unfortunately. But of course, you know our social media handle. Our guys are very familiar with our Facebook page and our YouTube page as well. So, as much as our WhatsApp page, which is our Highway People Connect group, where we share ideas, where we dig into technology and see how we can help each other grow better in whatever we do. So, guys, watch out for those pages, and then you'll see more things coming about it. And then, if you also want to come to the office, I'm sure you have the address. One of those, like I said, off our library in Kenya. We'll be expecting. Thank you again.
I think a very important takeaway for you guys, Liam making that. TriCaster, Newtek products are PC-based, but they're not PC. We experience this a lot, whereby people think that it's just a normal PC, and then they start experiencing challenges. Remember this statement, it's just PC-based. Make sure you don't use your TriCaster to start downloading things from YouTube, using it to browse and all these things. Yes, thank you so much, Liam. I think we'll be having more of this soon, right?
Yeah. We'll always be doing more webinars here. It's been fantastic as always. So.
Have a lovely evening.
You too.
Or afternoon. It's already, and I think it's still on your end.
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Yes, guys. Bye-bye. Nice having you.